I'm so afraid to sleep at night. You won't get away. It's time for me to let it, let it, let it, let it, let it out. I refuse to run and hide. I must let it, let it, let it, let it, let it out. I refuse to run and hide. All the weight is lifted off my shoulders. I will not hold this in any longer. I know you thought that it would kill me, but it has only made me stronger.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Let It Out. Night host is your boy, Raphael Baseman Jones, and we're here with Miss Peach.
You have a guest host, Peach. I'm filling in for Tobocious. I know I'm not as fabulous as she is, but I'll try to be, right?
How y'all doing tonight? Yeah, so we're going to hit this topic tonight. Tonight's topic is COVID vaccination. Anybody want to call in on this topic, please feel free to do so at 302-312-3534. And if you have any videos, update them to...
Please submit them to submissions at plugstudio.net. Good evening, Alicia. Hey, Tobocious, get better. Hey, Johnny. Hey, everyone. So I don't want, I'm a show hog. I don't want to take over your show.
Have fun.
Oh, you really want me to be Tobocious tonight?
Well, I mean, have fun. I mean, you do your thing. It's like tonight's topic is a strong one anyway. So it's like everybody going to have. So everybody do your thing. It's like everybody has a different idea and opinion and topics about the vaccine, as well as more of what the government is doing, why the vaccine, if everyone else, and then you see that there's millions of new cases coming up, where Florida has the most leading in cases, and you have so many different things kicking off right now with the with the COVID problem. So there are a lot of questions. There are a lot of people who want to ask, and there are a lot of things that people need to know. I mean, there's websites that you can go into to ask the questions, but of course, a lot of people think, hey, they don't answer the questions that you're looking for. So there's a lot of topics out there, and hopefully if this doctor calls in tonight, maybe she can help us also with a lot of the questions that we may have. So to get in on the topic, what is your opinion on it?
Well, everyone knows that I'm a rebel. Basically, my whole lifestyle is kind of rebellious. I'm an LGBT person, and I'm always going against everything.
Right.
So I would say for now I'm an anti-vaxxer. Reason being is because the way I was raised by my grandparents, so we had like a holistic lifestyle. I did not go to the ER like most children. I did not take what is the antibiotics. I wasn't on the antibiotic train like all the other kids. And surprisingly enough, I didn't get as sick as all the other children did either.
Right.
Neither did my children, and my granddaughter was not raised to be exposed to vaccinations. And I realized, when I compare her to most children her age and within her age group, she is quick. Like you see my granddaughter. My granddaughter is quick-witted and everything else, had teeth at 3 and 4 months and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm a anti-vaxxer. And I'm also a nurse, so we can kind of go into that perspective of it, too.
But you have a lot of people that's so totally against it for pretty much the wrong reasons. So it's like they're not even in it because, it's going to make me sick, it's going to go wrong, something's going to be here, something's going to be there. No, they're looking at it like the federal government setting you up, they putting stuff up inside you to make you, so they can detect you and all of That's the wrong idea. Because they want to detect you, they just give you something like free phones. Oh, I'm sorry, they did that already. Give you free cell phones, and everybody ran off and got one. That is the best way for them to detect you.
But come on now, you really can't. Can you really fault people of color to be apprehensive against the government,
Well,
especially with the
no.
Tuskegee
Yeah, that's true.
experimentation?
That's true.
And let's also think about, even though Jews don't want to
Right.
believe they're people of color, you're a person of color. Think about the
Right.
government practically exterminated
Yeah,
them.
they did.
So we
They
we
did.
we have a built-in anxiety
Against it.
against the
Yeah,
government.
that's true. That's true. I mean, and I could dig that. I got it. I understand that because so many people did go through so many. And it's like people. Let's say Baltimore City alone. There was a thing that a lot of people was told the tales of Baltimore City where where the government was dealing with Johns Hopkins Hospital. I'm sorry to put it out there like that, but there was a hospital next to it at one time where they were kidnapping, African Americans off the street to do experiments on them in the hospital. Everybody thought that was an old wives' tale, but it was actually true. So I understand the apprehensions against have taken medicine, taking the kind of shots like that. I understand that. And yeah, usually when they bring up a new vaccine of any kind, they usually start off in like the lower class neighborhoods and stuff 1st and then try to bring it on up because they want to see how it works on you first before they start implementing it to the people that they think they got the money to pay for it. So I got that. I understand that. But a lot of times you're looking at a whole lockdown
We
town.
got a caller
Oh, we got a
already.
call.
Oh Lord. Welcome to Let It Out. Who am I speaking with?
Well, I'm calling in to get mine in now. Ray done brought it up. But Ray is absolutely right. My grandmother used to live down the street from Hopkins Hospital. And I remember the monkeys on the roof. They literally had apes and monkeys on the roof of their building where they were living up there until they brought them down to the labs for experimenting. And the only reason why they're not up there is because PETA got after them. And you could hear them at night screaming and hollering up on the roof. And Hopkins ended up, it came out of Hopkins kidnapping homeless people and taking them and experimenting. That's just like if you sat up there and you even thought, Hopkins had a building next to the main hospital called Phipps, which was the psychiatric ward.
That's what it was.
And the minute if you were homeless, you were automatically sent to Phipps. If you sat up there and you said, you know what, I could kill you right now, you were automatically sent to Phipps. And that automatically signed them up to do experiments on you.
Sure did.
And it's like, yes. So it's like real apprehensive about taking you, especially when John Hopkins came, Johnson, they're like, anything experimental coming out of Hopkins, like, no.
Right.
No, I'll talk to you about it. No, thank you. But it's like with the COVID, yeah, people need to understand that COVID is just a derivative of another strain of SARS, which has been out for decades. So they've already been working on cures. However, still kind of apprehensive about taking it because just like you said, Pete, I've never taken a flu vaccine.
Right.
And other than that I had to get, my mom gave me when I was a kid since I've been an adult. I don't take vaccines and stuff like that. I've considered taking the COVID vaccine because, of people close to me and stuff and don't want them being sick. But as far as myself, I've had it twice so far. And I've been lucky enough to, not to be sick. I got sick, but not to a point of where others have gotten sick.
Yeah.
And it didn't faze me.
Okay.
So it's not saying that that's an excuse not to do it, but myself, no, I don't think so.
Okay. And what was your method of treat? What did you do to treat yourself when you had the two bouts of COVID?
I kept away from everyone, and I just did what I always did. I kept with my tea. I kept smoking my medicine, and I kept, taking care of myself with just traditional stuff.
Hmm.
Okay.
With traditional stuff, and I tell the guys, Ray and D Nasty and Relic. I tell them all the time, I'm built for it tough. I got enough kid germs in me to build a wall around this place. Shit, nothing get me. You know how many 2 and 3-year-old germs and cooties I got up in this body? I'm good. Shoot. I'm old school. This body built like stayed like a bed on steel built truck. For tough.
That's what's up.
Not saying that some other people don't need it.
Right. Right.
However, myself, I'm still just like on the fence about it. Just really, really on the fence about it.
Right. Right.
But if you think so, you can enlighten me today. Let's go for it.
Okay.
All right. Well, at least you open.
All right. Hey, anything is possible.
Right. Right. That's true.
I'm not saying it's going to happen this week, but anything is possible. So, y'all had a great show.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Alicia.
And now everybody want to call me now that I'm talking on the phone. I ain't talking to nobody in the last hour.
All right.
Bye.
See, and that's what's up, though. A lot of people have their thing against it because it doesn't affect them as bad, which I do understand that. But you're looking at some people who have cases that they can't can't stay away from people, can't stay away enough to heal themselves or get to know themselves, to get themselves together, to get themselves right. I mean, there's so many different remedies to doing it to a lot of people to keeping themselves healthy that it can work, it may work, but if you like myself, I took the vaccine. I got the vaccine. I went in, got both shots, got everything done. Everybody asked me, have anything happened to me? How did I feel about it? That's the only thing I felt was pain in both shoulders. I said, other than that, I was good. My wife had got it. She got her vaccine. Of course, she had to, and she was all right. So it was like we're looking at it like, yeah, this is just something that they just put in you. All right, fine. But then you have some people who've taken the vaccine and got sick, and they instantly said it was the vaccine, but they didn't get the full test to say that if it was actually the vaccine or something else that made them sick. So it's like you don't exactly know what it is that hit them, but
Right.
it hit them. And now, judging by the way things are going now, you got a lot of places like I go to Philly almost every night, and the cases up there are starting to rise up, and they're starting to shut down things up there again. Meaning there's a lot of bars, a lot of clubs are starting to shut down. Now, anybody who know center city Philly, like,
Like
Like,
sardine land.
oh my
Everybody's
goodness.
packed on top of one
oh
another.
my goodness, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, it is. Oh my goodness, you're not parking, you're not getting any. You're going to run into everybody, and everything was wide open. So now they're starting to shut everything back down again. So now we're trying to see what's going to happen. And after a while, they're starting to show places where I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know how they was going to do it. They're starting to show where some places going to ask you to see your vaccine card to get in, to do places. Some places are going to start doing that. It's sad and it's crazy, but that's what it's going to come down to. They're going to have to show it during the time you're getting on a plane. It's going to be having to be shown in order for you to get on like the Greyhound or any buses to go bus trip anywhere. They're going to start showing it, and it's crazy.
Hello, D Nasty. Again, this is Let It Out. Don't get confused because you see me up here. I'm filling in for Topocious Rochester. If you don't know who I am Peach from the Peach Radio Show. I do all the LGBT topics. So and so. So, practical reasons for taking the shot. And then I'm gonna tell you my reasoning why. Practical reasons why I could see why someone would take it if you have pre-existing conditions. I can
Right.
understand that from you from a nursing perspective. Um, you're already battling whatever you have, whatever disease that you're going through, and it's already attacking your immune system. The immune system is the key to it all to me. And if you don't have any pre-existing conditions, or you aren't on consistent medications that's wearing tearing down on your immune systems, I don't see the need for the vaccination.
Yeah, I got you.
I truly don't. You have this marvelous thing that you were born with.
Hmm.
It's your immune system. I believe if you come into contact with people that has COVID
Hmm.
and you develop any antibodies, I think you will be just as great as a person that had the actual vaccination. I myself, I'm a nurse and I work with pediatric children.
Right.
And these children have all kinds trach and vent nurse. So that's
Oh.
all respiratory.
Yeah, yeah.
I can say since the COVID jumped off, I have never caught it. I've had nurses around me get it.
Mm.
I've had staff get it, but I've never had it.
Mm.
And neither has my patients that had direct.
Right. Because I was just
With
going to
them.
ask you,
Yes,
like,
no.
without breaking HIPAA, like, what's the youngest you've seen?
With COVID,
Mm.
none of my patients had COVID, and none of my friends' patients has COVID.
Mm.
But it's the I'll say the nurses that have, and what they did have in common, two things: pre-existing conditions, and they had the vaccine. The other day on my page, I had a young woman. Yeah, if you on my page, I'm all in your shit. I read all your posts. I'm all in your stuff. And she had up there that she doesn't understand. She had both shots. She's like, why am I in the hospital battling this?
Wow. Yeah.
So, in my practical mind, for me, if I haven't had COVID yet, why would I go get a shot if
Right.
I can get COVID with the shot?
That's true.
Makes
too.
sense. Doesn't make sense for me. Also, another thing that I wrestle with it, it's not FDA approved.
Mm.
Now, every other vaccine that you get is FDA approved. Don't you wonder what that stands for? How would that affect your medical insurance? How will that affect your life insurance?
Yeah.
You're basically signing up like I hate to, for lack of a better word, like a test dummy.
Right.
You're volunteering your body for them to experiment on you with this antibody or
Right.
vaccination.
Yeah.
So whatever happens to you, you voluntarily letting it happen.
Yeah. You're allowing them to put it in you. and
Yes.
do it. Right.
So
I
for
dig it.
me, it's just it's a no for me. There's it's again, most things are tested for a couple of years, not months.
Right. Especially with this, as fast as they going through it. Yeah.
They're FDA approved, and to me, that's just too much in the air when it comes to my most valued treasure possession, which is my body.
Right.
We have a caller calling in.
All right.
Thank you for calling. Let it out. Who am I speaking with?
This is D Nasty.
Hey,
What's up?
How's it going?
Good.
You doing all right?
Uh huh.
I'm proud of you. Y'all doing the damn thing. So I just wanted to call up and share my little story.
Okay.
I'm a vet. I had COVID. So I'm gonna tell you what I went through.
Okay.
D?
D.
Hey,
Okay,
Yeah.
we listening.
how you doing, Pig? Ready?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
here.
we
We
here
listening.
listening.
Cool, cool. So, I had COVID,
Okay.
and not only did I have COVID, but my wife had COVID,
Okay.
and it was it was an experience for me. It was it was an experience that I'm telling you now at the beginning of this story that I don't want to go through again.
Okay.
Um, and I hear all of your concerns, and I'm gonna tell you something, P. I'm with you. I feel you, but I'm gonna tell you where I start to venture off the path.
Uh
Mm.
huh.
I've had the common cold before. I've had the flu. When I was little, I had bronchitis. I'm sorry, asthma. That I outgrew. I had all kind of stuff. When I got sick, when I used to get sick, I never thought twice about it. You know, I'm sick right now. I'm gonna be better in a minute.
Mm.
Literally in a minute. COVID is you don't get sick from COVID. When you catch COVID, you don't get sick from COVID. COVID is like a little gremlin, and it gets in your body, and whatever you already got going on, that's what it messes with. It's cantankerous.
Uh huh.
It
Sort of
it
like
messes with
HIV.
that, and it
Sort of
just
like HIV. You're saying similar to the action of HIV, where it breaks down
Yeah.
the immune system and everything
exactly.
else. Okay.
And it was mental with me. Like it took me, it attacked me inside. Like I always thought that I had this inner strength. Like I just, I really wasn't bothered, but I had gone through something mental with this COVID. Like it really made me fight. It made me second guess, and I didn't want to do anything. It makes you lethargic. It makes you just want to lay there and let it take you away.
Okay.
Um, so when I decided while I was sick that nah, I'm not going down like that. And I got up and I moved around and I did what I could do, to fight. I started to come out of it.
Okay.
Um, in my wife's case, my wife has diabetes, and she had it the worst. Like she got COVID. It did everything to me. It did to her. Everything that it did to me, it did to her. She didn't want to eat. She didn't want to move. She didn't want to do nothing. And matter of fact, from the COVID, she had a seizure.
Mhm.
And I thank God that I had the training that I had. That I knew what to do.
Right.
She went into the hospital. She couldn't breathe. They had to put a ventilator. They had to put on a ventilator.
Okay.
Then when they tried to take her off of the ventilator, they thought that her throat was closing up. They saw that. Actually, it wasn't no thought. Her throat was closing up. So what they did was they put her back on the ventilator. They tried to take her off of it again, and they were afraid to because they thought that if they did, she would close up and wouldn't be able to breathe. So they put she had a tracheostomy.
Mm.
Okay.
So they gave her the tracheostomy, and they said that, well, we can still ventilate her on the tracheostomy, and then we can wean her off of the trach, off of the vent while she has the trach.
Mhm.
It worked. Once she came off of the vent, she had the trach for a little bit. Then they took the trach out.
Right.
It was an experience. She's out of the hospital now. She's doing better. She's not 100%, but she's getting there.
Right.
Right.
So that's what it does to you. Now, you just mentioned something about this vaccine and how they going. What's the plan for it? So yeah, it's not FDA approved, and it's not FDA approved because they're not done with it yet.
Right.
They haven't tweaked it how they want it.
Right.
So I was on Facebook yesterday I was on Facebook, and I was on my page, and I just came past this business. The guy put a post up about how the military is now trying to formulate a chip to put into the vaccine to let you know if you have it.
Right.
Mm.
Remember this the same chip that everybody's talking about, that this is what they want to do. They want to chip everybody like they chip cats and dogs and stuff.
Right,
Yes.
right.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I'm a conspiracy theorist. All right, I'm gonna just be real about it. I'm a conspiracy theorist. But when you think about it like that, when you think about so now it's coming out, like they said it on the news. He didn't just this isn't his words. He taped a news program of KTLA and he recorded it and put it on Facebook. So
Right.
this is what the news is putting out. You feel me?
Right.
So I mean, it just makes you wonder. Everything you heard about back in the day, was growing up, maybe even went to church, like, these are the last days. Yeah, chapter and verse. Chapter and verse. Okay? I do believe that this is what they want. This is all a ploy to make it to this one system for the whole world.
Right.
I feel you on that. Okay.
I believe that wholeheartedly. I
Okay.
didn't want to take the vaccine either. But I'm gonna tell you what. Like I said at the beginning of this, I ain't trying to catch COVID again.
Right.
Because I don't know if I'm gonna be that lucky. This is something that took out hundreds of millions of people around the world. And I don't know if I'm gonna be that lucky again.
Right, I feel you.
Because I got stuff going on. We all got stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like I was lucky. I'm gonna take that vaccine because I need to be around for my family. And if I do get it, because I've heard cases of people who got the vaccine that catch COVID, but they don't die from it. So if you keep your lives, it's
Right,
worth taking for me.
right.
Well, it's it's a
I
high
think catch it
percentage of
again.
people that didn't get the COVID, that didn't die from COVID, that didn't have the vaccine.
That's true
So,
too.
so
That's
I,
true
I
too.
mean, being playing devil's advocate, but I do understand why you would get it because, again, you have a pre-existing condition. But I also would like to say to you that for every medicine that you take or vaccine, there is an adverse effect on your body.
There is, yeah, exactly. So let me tell you about the conversation that I had with the doctor while I was in the hospital. Because the doctor said to me, "Are you open to the vaccine? You think about getting a vaccine?" I said, "I'm on the fence about it." Blah, blah, blah. So he talked to me, and I said, "Tell me what you think about the vaccine." So we started talking. The doctor said, "Well, this is how the vaccine works. You get the vaccine, and the vaccine is going to go in your body, and it's going to reprogram your cells to learn how to fight the vaccine." But he used the word reprogram.
Mm.
He used the word reprogram. I said, "Hold up, what do you mean reprogram?" And he said it's like a what do you say? It's like an operating system or something like that. He said it's like a operating system, and it teaches the cells in your body what the vaccine looks like, how to recognize it, and then how to fight it.
Right.
That's just
And I was like,
immunity.
Yeah, it's helping your immune
if this
system to learn it.
If this vaccine can reprogram your cells to recognize COVID and how to fight it, if you get it, then what else can it reprogram your cells to do? Who is controlling the programming?
I,
Word, right? It wasn't my word. You know what I'm saying? Like
I got what
Yeah,
you're
that's
saying.
true.
And it's just you gotta listen to people.
Well,
And
if
when
you
he said that, I was like, so okay, you can have this thing, you can have this vaccine, and it can teach your cells how to reprogram. But when they want it to do or want you to do something else, or I don't know, whatever they can program it, how can they program it? Is it remote or whatever? I don't know.
Mm.
What else is it going to be able to do to you? When you program a machine, it does what you want it to do, and it will do whatever you want it to do.
Right.
So when you're ready for me to pick bucket, do I just die?
yeah.
I have no control over that.
No, but if
So
you build your own
we
immunity,
can't
you
control
do.
that.
Yeah.
We can't control that. So but I guess we about to find out that we really can.
but it's
So,
more so
I don't know.
you rebuild it. What he, I guess what he failed to say was it's teaching your body how to react towards the next way it goes. It's almost like it's just like I was saying, like almost like the polio shot. It's like the polio shot came in, and you had a lot of people that was against it back then too, but then it helped to uh, teach your body to, if you see this problem, to fight it off, kind of thing. So everybody started getting the polio shot. Then all of a sudden, they didn't have too many problems with polio too much anymore.
No.
But polio still was coming through.
But the conspiracy of it all is, okay, when you think about the polio shot, when you think about the flu shot, they weren't hustling those shots like they're hustling this COVID
That's true,
shot.
too.
They're offering people McDonald's sandwiches, $50. They're going to tax you.
Yeah.
Why is
They
it that
want
deep?
everybody to get it. They want everybody to get it as soon as possible. This is getting ready to be there. We already know. I hate to switch subjects, but I'm using this as an example. There's no middle class in America. You either have or have not.
Yes.
You're either rich or you poor. That's what it is. It's going to be you're vaccinated or you're not.
Right.
Right.
That's true.
That's the system that they want. See, and this is the newest form of discrimination because the white-black thing, yeah, it worked for a while, but
It's starting to
it's getting
phase
old now. It's
out.
played
Yeah.
out. So now they can hide behind being vaccinated and not being vaccinated.
Yes.
This
Yes.
is the long game they're playing.
I
So-
agree.
And as far as what you said, because they are doing that in New York. I heard you mention that. But it didn't start in New York. See, it started over in Israel.
Right.
It was Israel, and one of these countries over there next to Israel. You know, this was a couple of months ago, probably the beginning of the year. They got these cards now, and the people that were the neighboring countries, whatever it was Israel and another country. They were allowing people to go back and forth and travel between the countries if they had that card.
Right.
So you know, like how in Maryland, we all had to get new driver's license for this real ID thing.
Right.
So it's what it's going to be. They're probably going to give us an ID. Well, they're not going to give us an ID because they want to put the chip in people. I'm sorry. Yeah, they want to put the chip in people, so that chip is going to tell you who's vaccinated and who's not.
And that's the only way your phone will pick it up. Because you do have an app already downloaded into your phone.
Yeah, and yeah, we talked about that. And it's a way you could turn that off too. Yeah.
If you go to the settings in your phone,
Yeah.
It's
the setting
downloaded in
your
there.
phone, yes, exactly. That was one of the updates that you might have put. You didn't know. They didn't say it in the update, but if you checked your phone afterwards, it was there.
Yeah,
The
you have to
COVID-19
manually
something.
turn it off yourself.
Right.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, we went through that. Tell you, so actually, D Nasty told me about it, and I went through it. And I saw it in there. I was like, "Oh, you serious?" So I went back and showed my wife, and I turned it off. Yeah, I saw it on there.
Yeah.
It was like their way of determining where you are, what's going on, a few places where you, where high risk is, and everything, and watching where you going, and yeah, it was a tracking like in your phone that would tell you where you are. Yeah. And it'll tell you if you've been in certain places and got you back.
And who you've been around. And
Right,
had it.
right.
And yeah, yep.
And also, I want to stress, since everybody's watching, and D Nasty probably even heard this before, that again, I'm in the medical profession. These hospitals and stuff get paid more for you to have the diagnosis of COVID.
Yep. It sure
So
do.
I will. I will
about
put
money.
COVID down on your chart if I can get thousands of dollars more.
Yeah, it's always money.
Exactly.
It's
It's
about
always
money.
money.
It's an
Everybody's
institution.
asking, like my wife says it all the time. She say, because the people on TV saying, "Come and get the vaccine. It's free. It's free. It's free." Since when did they give out free medicine?
Right. It's always money involved. I mean, every time anything medicated, it's money involved.
It's money involved. You know what? It's an insurance company because they're the ones that want profit.
Yep.
They're the ones that want to profit. They business corporations run the world.
Yep.
That's what it is.
And
man.
just as the medical field start making all the money off of it, then you start seeing the lawyers come out. If you have this problem,
Yep.
that problem, this problem, call us. We'll get you more money for it and
Yep.
get money back. Yeah.
As soon as
It's
it gets
just- yeah.
FDA approved, it's gonna say COVID vaccine. Then you're gonna see that lawsuit. If you're experienced this,
Right.
that.
And that's when all the money start coming back again for the lawyers now. then you had to try to figure out how to get the money back for you. So yeah, it happens over and over again. Sure do. It sure do. Yep.
Well,
It's
that was
all.
my
Everything
story,
is
y'all.
about money.
All right.
Thank you for listening.
Thank
You're
you, Tay.
welcome.
Thank you so much, man.
Bye-bye.
So we're gonna get into this video, and then when we come back, if Raphael doesn't mind, I want to give y'all my perspective of what happens when you go into the hospital. Just playing devil's advocate when you go into the hospital. This is T Stacks Cross Me. Enjoy. We'll be back.
When that nigga cross me, boy, love me. We even hit the trap house with the shotty. We screen ride or die, now you behind me. Now you behind me. When that nigga cross me, boy, love me. We even hit the trap house with the shotty. We screen ride or die, now you behind me. Now you behind me. Closest niggas hating, they ain't talking about it. Breaking bread with the rats, they sat your crumbs around you. How'd I trust this nigga, never making moves without you? But you was shicey sneaking plays, you was stupid wildin'. Iffy nigga, I was never supposed to worry about you. The gang said you talking, damn, I swore it wasn't true. But you tricked me, nigga. This shit hate, cause you lazy, I don't get it, nigga. Moving funny, switch the ways, acting different, nigga. My past was triggered, you so goofy, I ain't feeling it. The way you hurt me, caught me slipping, I can't deal with it. We was thicker than some blood, now it's liquid shit. The way you had the shorty line, I could've killed the bitch. I'm sick of it, I put you on and now it's fuck this shit. You was chillin' with the ops, I know they hate me really. Now you begging, pleading, screaming, come and kill this nigga. I'm done believing all the lies, I can't believe you tripping. Through all the ups and downs, I came through for you. Intentions wasn't pure, don't feel a damn thing for you. Sorry sucker, this the ending for you. And I'm tired of people acting like I'm careless. When a nigga cross me, boy, love me. We even hit the trap house with the shotty. We screen ride or die, now you behind me. Now you behind me. When that nigga cross me, boy, love me. We even hit the trap house with the shotty. We screen ride or die, now you behind me. Now you behind me. Can't care too much, they think you soft, I ain't with the shit. You burned the real and how you feelin', nigga, this is it. I hope you starving, I won't feed you, you can drink my piss. These hollow tips patiently waiting just to split your wig. Brain matter, splatter, picture hurts in a timely manner. Wrote your eulogy inside it, it had snake plaster. Thought this friendship would've lasted, but it turned tragic. I'd rather see you in the grave or bring your ass when to ashes. When that nigga cross me, boy, love me. We even hit the trap house with the shotty. We screen ride or die, now you behind me. Now you behind me. When that nigga cross me, boy, love me. We even hit the trap house with the shotty. We screen ride or die, now you behind me. Now you behind me.
And we are back.
Welcome. Again, this is Let It Out. Let It Out. Raphael Jones and Miss Peach here.
Yeah,
Doing it up tonight.
I'm covering for Toboshes Rochester. Get well. Topic for tonight, we're just discussing opinions about the COVID vaccination. We just giving our opinions. Please don't take this as medical advice. I'm sure you have your own opinions. I have mine. But before we left, I said I wanted to play devil's advocate with this COVID and going into the hospital with COVID. Did you have anything you wanted to say before I got on my little spiel or whatever?
Not at all. Go for it.
As you know, I mentioned earlier, if you're just tuning in, I am a vent and trach nurse. I work with peds. I have worked with adults. The thing that I would like to share with you is a lot of those cases, and it's probably going to blow your mind because if you're not in the medical profession, you're not going to know this. When you go into these hospitals, if they are indeed packed with COVID patients and they're on ventilation, mechanical ventilation, which is the ventilator, the nurses that are in that room with you or on that floor aren't necessarily trained to function those machines. So the ventilator is a very chaotic piece of machinery. It can give you flu-like symptoms or COVID-like symptoms, because the COVID symptoms kind of mirror the flu symptoms with
Okay.
liquid in your lungs. The ventilator, if it's not properly used or maintained, can put fluid in your lungs.
Yeah, I can see that.
And the nurses in the ER are not trained to maintain it,
Is it
which
like
leaves you
the?
for the respiratory therapist.
Is it like the humidifier or the floating of the? I forgot the name of the water that they hook onto some of the ventilator machines.
You have like a, I'm trying to.
I can't remember the high. What I'm trying to say is
You
like
have
it
a
back
heating
trace
chamber
into the,
condenser that's
Right.
connected to the vent.
so it back
You
traces
fill
up
that
in-
with water. If that vent is not working properly, and say said trained
Wow.
nurse is on the floor doesn't know how to properly troubleshoot it,
Right.
you have to wait for a respiratory therapist.
Wow.
If that respiratory
Yeah.
therapist isn't on staff, or they have maybe one or two of them, and you have all these cases,
Right.
what do you think is happening to these people that's sitting on these malfunctioning vents?
Yeah. Okay.
My suggestion to you is, when you go in these hospitals and you hear the word vent, the first thing that would be for me to ask, who is my nurse? And when she come in, are you medically trained for the vent? Do you know how to troubleshoot this? 9 times out of 10, that ER nurse will tell you no.
Wow.
A home care nurse. This is what I would ask. Excuse me. Were you ever a home care nurse? A home care nurse is trained to know the inner workings of a ventilator.
Wow.
I could literally walk you. I can tell you how many times I went to visit a loved one, and they're on a ventilator, and I can walk in and it's beeping. And they're pressing the nurse button, and she comes in. You say, my ventilator is beeping. She'll say, let me go get the respiratory therapist.
Wow. So they don't know what they're doing.
No,
So they gotta
let me go get the
somebody else.
respiratory therapist. Meanwhile, if it's a low pressure alarm, the air is escaping, and your loved one is not getting oxygen. It's escaping somewhere. It's a hole somewhere. If they have a trach, the trach may be out.
Wow.
But they're looking for the respiratory therapist.
Mm.
If it's a high pressure alarm, this person probably got mucus trapped in their throat. Or they have fluid in their lungs that's blocking the airflow.
Wow.
And this person is screaming, let me get a respiratory therapist. So you think your loved one is dying from COVID, but really they're dying from a ventilation defect.
So they pretty much drowning in there.
They're
like-
drowning, yes.
Wow.
So that's just
That is
something
crazy.
for you to know. Just a tidbit
Right.
of information that I tell my loved ones and my friends. A ventilator, when I heard, the first thing I heard when they were like, oh, we got to get all these ventilators, first thought in my mind was like, oh my God, all these people about to die.
Wow.
Because if this hospital packed and they only got 5 respiratory therapists, and these nurses got to depend on them, that's a high caseload for 5 people.
Okay.
When there's something as simple as popping a trach in, or clearing the airway, or checking the tubing, or changing out the whole system,
Right. Right. Wow.
ER nurses is not trained for that.
So they gotta pretty much fast track everything. and-
That's the respiratory therapist's job. That's not their job. They'll tell you that's for the respiratory therapist. We have departments for that.
Wow.
I have actually went inside one of my loved ones' thing and saw the alarm and fixed the alarm for that person.
Right.
And told the nurse that was on staff, listen, this is what's going on when you see this. And I was so afraid that I sat with them.
Wow. That's crazy.
So, I mean, when you be diligent in research when you see things on the news, right? The news is designed for ratings. So your fear attracts ratings.
Right, right. Because you're gonna
If I
keep
could
looking
keep
at
you
it.
in tune, if I
Yeah,
could keep
that's
you
true.
scared, if I
That's
could
true.
keep you watching, I'm going to produce news that's going to have you scared. Like billions of people is in the hospital.
Right,
Have anybody got off their couch and said, "Okay, all these people in the hospital. Let me go to my hospital and see."
right, right. Cause
Don't.
I know at
Yeah.
the beginning of the pandemic, I had to take my daughter to the hospital. I'm taking her to the emergency room. Emergency room completely empty. I went through we went to the back when they was checking her and everything. The back area was almost completely empty. It wasn't hardly nobody in the hospital at all. But I'm sitting there like, all right, the whole hospital pretty much worried about COVID going on. I understand that. But at the same time, I'm like, all right, so nobody got sick. Nobody's in here. Nobody's going. I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, there's nobody down here in the emergency room. I said, just a few nurses, and they sitting around.
Yeah, they
Like,
sit around at the nurses desk chilling. But I'm not trying to say that COVID doesn't exist. It does. It does.
mm-hmm.
It exists. But I'm saying use common sense. I'm
Yeah,
trying to, for me, I came on tonight. You know, I normally don't bombard y'all show because I just
that's all right.
wanted to impart some wisdom. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
yes, listen to the news, but listen with a discretionary ear. Don't listen out of naivety.
Right,
Listen.
right. I got you.
Listen
Yeah,
and think about what's going on.
yeah. I mean, you got to pay attention to everything that's going on around you.
Right.
Don't jump at it. Don't think that everything. I mean,
Yes.
but my thing is again, not everything is conspiracy theory.
Not everything is, but
But yeah,
you need to take a look into what, because again, everything is designed for the almighty dollar. Like, okay, my best friend had COVID.
mm-hmm.
She sat home. She treated it like pneumonia. Got
Right.
better. Her son treated it like pneumonia. Not saying that's going to be everyone's case, but
Right.
it's treatable.
Right.
But if you listen to the news, it has you feeling like
Oh, it's gonna die.
it's AIDS all over again.
Yeah.
Remember the time in the 80s you thought you could catch AIDS walking out your door and you didn't really understood how
Right.
it worked? That's where
Right.
we
Right.
are with COVID.
Right. My oldest daughter caught it. My oldest daughter caught COVID, and she kept herself in the house. And I kept calling and checking on her every day. I said, make sure you eat. Make sure you drink. She said, I don't want to eat. And that's what happens. You don't eat with any kind of virus, any kind of problem you have, you already losing the battle because you're not keeping your body, going. You got to eat something to keep your strength up a bit. You got to move
Right.
around some. You got to drink fluids. Everything that you
Yes.
take in is actually was nourishing your body enough to keep your body strong enough to keep fighting it. So I had to
Yup.
tell my daughter, keep
And-
eating.
And get that
Even if you
phlegm
don't
out.
taste it, eat it.
Get that phlegm out your
Cough,
body.
whatever it is coughing up, get it out.
Yes.
Drink tea.
It's-
Drink stuff to loosen things up. Do it up. I said, don't sit there and just let it take over you. Eat, drink, move around. Get up. If you can, walk up and down some steps a little bit just to get yourself going. Keep yourself moving. I said, because the best way to get rid of any kind of disease to me is to keep exercising and
gotta
getting
keep
it out.
active and
Keep
getting
motivating
that,
yourself.
that mucus out.
Yeah, you gotta keep moving. You gotta keep motivating your body to move. You gotta keep going. I mean, I think that's the reason why. I think that's one of the reasons why I don't fall for a lot of illnesses because I don't get a chance to sit down long enough. I think I keep moving too
Yeah.
much. So
Yeah,
it's like
that could be.
I'll eat, I keep moving, I keep doing. Like I think yesterday was the first day in a good while that I ate breakfast, and I think I didn't eat nothing until later on in the evening before like late in the evening, like dinner. It was like all day long I didn't eat anything because I was so pumped because I had all sorts of stuff going on. So I was
Right.
like wasn't paying attention. But yeah, I mean you got to keep moving. You got to keep eating. You got to
And
keep yourself
you
going.
know, I also want to impart to you guys, fear is debilitating. Fear
Yes,
works
yes, it
on
is.
your immune system.
Yes, it do.
Okay?
Yes, it do.
We cannot live in fear. You have to let that go.
Mm-hmm.
That fear is debilitating. I'm telling you that now. keep doing the things that you had that great granny that gave you that stuff, and just take care of your body the best way you can during this. And if you get COVID, don't train your mind to believe it's a death sentence.
Right. Right.
Okay? Don't train your mind. Also, if you make it to the hospital, I done gave you a tidbit. If you just tuning in, rewind it. I'm giving you some advice about this hospital and this ventilation. Also, let me give you a couple numbers behind what goes on. I'm actually thinking, me and my best friend, we're trying to open something. And did you know the worse your health is, the more money you're worth?
Oh yeah.
Like an average person is $5,000.
Oh yeah.
A person, say you went in the hospital, like D said, his wife came in, she had COVID. The tax kept adding up. By the time she became a trach patient, she was worth over $15,000 just laying in that hospital.
Right. Right.
Okay, so that's something to think about.
Right.
That's definitely something to think about. I got 2 words for y'all. And this is the yes, D. I'm like you. I'm a conspiracy theorist. Look up Georgia Guidestones, and that might shed a little bit of light as to what is happening. Okay.
You said Georgia Godstone.
Georgia Guidestones. When you look that up, you're gonna be like, okay. Not to say that everything is a conspiracy, but until it's proven true, they call everything. Like, again, the Tuskegee thing was a conspiracy.
Right.
George Washington, what was his name? They had the children by the slave. All of that was a conspiracy until the truth come out.
Right.
I don't want to be on the fucked up side of the truth.
That's true. That is, yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on that.
Because, recently they had this thing where they was talking about the Haitian president that got killed. And they was trying to find out, they said he was assassinated because he knew the secret of what helped keep COVID away, because Haiti had the least amount of cases of COVID ever. And they said with the things that he was doing to help keep the Haitians safe and cured was the fact that it was just certain regular home remedies and stuff that he was doing that got him assassinated, because he was trying to get the world to stop, with the medical thing. But it was so much behind it.
The Islanders, what it is they eat food that's spicy, that has that heat that gets that phlegm and stuff out of you. So these are just some of the things. Like I said, we're not trying to give you any medical advice. We're just giving you our perspective. I don't want y'all to stop seeing your physician and just saying, you know what, Peach and Raphael said to do this.
Right.
No, I am not your medical doctor. I will tell you that I'm in tune with my body and I know what works for me. And I suggest that you get with yourself.
That is true.
And know what works for you.
Got to get to know you. You got to know what works for you. Sometimes you're going to have to consult with your doctor to see what it is that's going on with you before you start venturing out on your own. But there are some things you have to do before you start doing it, because you can't just, if you taking a cocktail in the morning, those who take a lot of medications know, if you're taking a cocktail in the morning and then you all of a sudden say, all right, I want to start changing myself, you can't cold turkey it, because some things it may shut down your system because you already had this in your system for so long. You're going to have to start be able to learn what will wing yourself off. Try to be able to talk with your doctor that will help you get off of certain things that you want to wing off of it. Talk with them. Even if you're trying to clear yourself of it, you can talk with your doctor and say, all right, look, this is not working for me. I want to wing myself off. I don't want to do this anymore. They will help you get off of it, but they're going to try to push another one. But you can actually, deny getting it, but you can wing yourself off of the other one first. So there are ways to do it, and there's ways to go through it. There's other ways to get everything else done. But the best way to do it is always consult some kind of medical advice of some kind of way, so you can do it the healthy way without hurting yourself. But there are ways to get stuff done. There are always ways of getting stuff done. Like I was just having a conversation earlier with a nurse. Um, I explained to her. She was like, "There's times where you need certain things in your body. Where people who suffer from blood pressure problems, they say, all right, you suffer from high blood pressure. And everybody's idea is, all right, stop using stuff with a lot of salt in it.
Yeah, you gotta reduce the sodium
But
intake.
the thing is, you said the right thing. You said reduce. A lot of people think just stop. So what happened was, I helped my mom get off of salt almost completely. Like we took her pretty much off of everything that was anything made with too much sodium, salt completely. My mother started falling over.
Yeah, your body needs sodium.
Boom. What happened was the doctor came back and explained to me, oh, your mother's falling over because she needs salt. Oh, isn't that what you told me to get her off of? They said, no, but your body needs some sodium to keep yourself going. And I was like, oh, all this time my mother's falling over because of the fact
She
that
needs some sodium.
I was sitting there like, oh, I'm sorry, Ma. Here you go. Just a little something. But yeah, there's certain things that you take away from yourself that can cause a problem for you. So you got to make sure whatever you're taking out of your body, you can actually supplement it or bring it back in another kind of way that would be more healthier for you. You cannot just cold turkey get rid of anything, and I found that out.
You know
But
what?
yeah.
But my testimony, I was telling you earlier, I was diagnosed as a pre-diabetic. I went in, the doctor tried to give me medication. I told her, I'm going to tell you my exact words, fuck no. She said, you taking? I said, fuck no. She said, so what if you get diabetes? I said, I'm not. She said, why? I said, because I'm going to go home. I'm not going to let you put that in my body because I already understand once it's in there, my body is going to need it. What I did was I came home. I changed my diet and I started supplementing with it was iron, biotin, and chromium. Shout out to Dr. Africa. And most of you guys know about Dr. Sabi, but you can find Dr. Africa online. And I have never, that was 5 years ago, I have never taken diabetes medication, never needed to, nothing. Okay? So if you get diagnosed with something before you actually, if you can, depends on where you are in the process of the disease process. If you are early on in the disease process, again, I'm not a doctor, you could probably try supplements, like natural supplements before you, and change your eating habits before you actually just commit to the medication itself.
Right.
And I've never had an issue. I don't have a high blood pressure. Big as I am, I don't have no high blood pressure issues. The diabetes thing, never needed no medication. I don't have no issues. And come on now, like realistically, the shit that we eat isn't even real shit.
Right.
Like cheese is wood chips. Like, come on.
Yeah, you're looking at things that they've been changed up for us all the way around.
We
Yeah.
eating shit that's not even real things to eat. So
If you're doing like vegetables from a can, you want to stop that. That's high sodium. You're gonna want to do vegetables in a bag. But then they're looking at the kind of chemicals they made to beef up the vegetables that's in the bag now. So you're looking at everything is starting to change. Everything is changing.
Go to the
up.
farm, step back like your grandma that lived for 90 years or better, or
Right,
at least
right.
80, and go to the farmer's market. Hell, I went on vacation, and a local islander imparted some wisdom. He said, hey, y'all Americans need to put something to eat on y'all land if you got land, or in your apartment. That's your problem. The government decide not to produce food. You're starving. Put something out in your land and eat
Right,
it.
that's true. That is true. They all make, like my wife grew up on a farm. They used to grow a lot of their own things and do a lot of their own things. It's a lot of benefits behind it because it's freshly coming from you. So yeah, there is a lot of stuff behind it that is great. As long as you can do it yourself. I was just talking with my other daughter. I was like, I actually want a house where I could grow like because my biggest fruit is watermelon. So and unfortunately, that is my actual favorite. So if I can actually grow it, I'm gonna have a ball with that. But
Well, you already know what I grow. Think about my name, and then you know what's growing in my yard. A peach tree. So, but again, with all this advice we gave y'all, all it does is build up and boost your immune system. So
Right.
when you have something like COVID that's coming and trying to attack you, COVID is getting hell.
right.
So it's either you may get it or you may get a milder case. Like my best friend, I told you, me and her grew up practically the same. Our parents didn't believe in all this medicine and all this other stuff. When COVID came for her, she was ready.
Right.
A week later, she's like, fuck COVID.
Right.
Her son, couple days later, fuck COVID.
Right.
And it's the immunity. Your first defense is your immune system.
That is true. That is 100% true.
So, not telling y'all not to get the vaccine.
No.
Not at all.
Because, like I said before, eventually they're going to want to see a card
Well, that ain't
for
nothing.
you to travel.
I'll go. Listen, come on, y'all. We black. We know how to get hookups, right? We know how to go to listen, somebody going to be selling hookups on the street. You need an immunity card.
To get
You
on.
need
to
an
get on-
immunity
to go
card.
travel after
Immunity
a while.
cards for $100. Come on now.
And that's kind of crazy, but it's coming. It is coming. I told my wife that. I said it is coming. But tonight's show was fantastic. We hope y'all learned a lot from it. I really hope y'all learned a lot from it, and I really thank you, Miss Peach, for being here tonight because we learned a lot. We learned a lot, especially from the nurse point of view of it, and it's like from the hospital point of view of it. We have learned a lot from it because we need to know that because there are people out there that these conspiracy theories. Please stop and actually educate what's going on first. Because, there are a lot of skeptical things going on, but you got to educate yourself. Try to educate yourself. Don't go off of hearsay. I was even told one time that they put something in you that you go to a supermarket and rub your hand over the scanner and all of a sudden you paid for your food. I was like, are you serious? So please be careful at what you take in because you're going to mess around and mess up. So tonight's show was fantastic, and we thank y'all for tuning in. We thank those who have called in, and again, thank you, Ms. Peach, for being here for us. This is Raphael Jones from Let It Out, letting y'all know thank you and be safe.
Good night, y'all. Alicia said she saw something. Good night.
I'm up against the fight of my life. I'm so afraid to sleep at night. You won't get away. It's time for me to let it, let it, let it, let it,